All right. I'm going to give all glory and praise unto the Lord Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Brakatah Yahawah, Brakatah Yahawashi, Brakatah Yahawah, and Brakatah Yahawashi. I'm going to give all glory and praise unto those holy and powerful names of Yahawah being the Father, and Yahawashi being his only begotten Son. This is Brother Malachi coming at you again through the Spirit power of Yahawashi, coming in the way of the Ba'ashem Rakakwadas, which is the Holy Spirit of truth, giving double honors to the apostles of great millstone who do will and teach well now. Lord willing, there is some background noise. Do forgive me, Salakia. But I'm going to try to speak in such a way that, it kind of minimizes the noise to the best of my ability. But I did want to, through the Spirit, speak on recent events, sum it up and go into things that are going on right now. I got an article here and I got a video, and I just kind of want to hit some respective precepts as we continue to move forward, within this walk of ours, which we understand is the faith of what, believing in our Lord Yahawah, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, that he's going to return in his second coming and redeem the children of Israel from captivity, which we are under captivity right now as I speak, subject to payments and things of that nature unto our enemies. All right. And unless you've been living under a rock, then you know that the war drums and prophecy has been jumping like popcorn, if you will. And as far as the conflicts between Iran and between Israel, and really through the Spirit is the U.S. and Israel there, because the U.S. and Israel, they're linked in. They're tied in together. These Amalekites through the Spirit, or these Jews, they run and control Babylon the Great, and they use Babylon the Great as a like a protector in a sense. So basically, Babylon the Great does the bidding of these Amalekites, of these Jews. So if Israel, the state of Israel, if it gets into some beef, it gets into some shit, then Babylon the Great is going to step up and always be in defense and be basically a guard unto Babylon the Great. Just like Russia, according to the scriptures, when you go into the precepts, Gog and Magog, which represents Russia, is a guard unto these lesser nations, like Iran, which is Persia, which is Persia within the scriptures, and all the other, lesser nations, that are gonna be against Babylon the Great, against the Western hegemony as it is and as it stands today. You understand? So ultimately, I seen this article and I seen, a video related to it, and I figured, like, let me do a video on this because, we've been speaking and going into, the war. And this third woe, which I'm finna just hit the precepts, this video is not in, it's just strictly throughout the Spirit, so we're just gonna go with whatever the Lord gives us, But I wanted to speak on this, maybe touch on 2nd Ezra 15 a little bit. And Lord willing, this video is edifying. But let me get this real quick, because we do, as the men of the Lord and as the people of the Lord, Lord willing, the hopeful elect, we got to redeem the time. And this is what the men of the Lord are doing. This is what I'm doing, is redeeming the time. I'm finna go into this article after this precept, but we're redeeming the time because we know that evil is finna be brought upon the earth, and we are not ignorant. We are not in the spirit of not understanding that that's what's finna happen. So you got the people, 2/3, and the heathens who are in the spirit of thinking everything's gonna be okay, that there's gonna be peace, and that they can continue to, we look forward unto the downfall of this empire, of this kingdom. All right, because this kingdom's going on, it's like, I believe it's 20 20, like I think it's been like 250 years since America has been America, or Babylon has been Babylon. And that's usually about the time where kingdom starts to deteriorate and starts to fall. So, this kingdom through the spirit, does not have long at all. You know, I don't see it getting to 2030, but I speak as a man. I hope it doesn't. I'm ready to get, we hasten in the day. We ready to get the fuck on, man. But we gonna still report on these things and still go into these precepts and still touch on these articles and videos. Basically warning you, giving you a prophecy watch. But yeah, we just had that back and forth between Israel and Iran. So we're gonna see if that continues to intensify, which it will. But this is Revelations 11 and 14. It says the second woe has passed, and that represented World War II. There's 3 major wars that the Lord has prophesied to come to pass within the scriptures, and the second woe represents World War II, and that already came and went. Okay, and that's kind of around the time that during World War II, during World War where America became even, basically like the global superpower. You know what I'm saying? America was Babylon the Great was the big bag bully on the block after World War II. But it speaks about this. Behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Okay. And that's going into this third World War, which is going to be a battle, which it will be boots on the ground at first. It will be gunplay. It will be sword play and things of that nature. But it will ultimately result in thermonuclear destruction of Babylon the Great and Israel. Though Israel will be built back up because that's going to be the headquarters of the kingdom. But however, this third world war will end up ending in mass destruction of Babylon the Great and other various parts of the earth. Though those, like I say, those parts are going to be built back up again, because the kingdom, which is the kingdom of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his descendants will be on earth. And we know that the earth abideth forever, according to the scriptures, according to Ecclesiasticus, the first chapter. We know that the earth, in and of itself, is going to explode. And, we all die, but it's going to be inhabited. And it's going to be inhabited by the children of Israel, first off and foremost, starting off with the elect, with Yahawashi at the head. All right, so, but yeah, it says the third will come up quickly. All right, so that represents the third world war, and that's going to come. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Though it seemed like it's tearing, because it seems like, I'm finna get into this article. It seems like shit'll get popping off, and then it'll die back down. But whether it pops off, die back down, pops off, die back down, is irrelevant. The point is that it's prophesied to happen within the scriptures. So that means that it's going to happen. All we got to do is wait, grab some popcorn, do what we got to do, as far as prophecy is concerned, and wait, and the Lord's going to make good on And then I got a video too, going into it a little bit as well. But I want to jump into this article and just get the respective precepts, and Lord willing, update and edify their hopeful elect. But it says Putin says U.S., which is Babylon the Great, all right, the city of confusion and wickedness, says Russia relations stabilizing, which means getting better. But see, we understand according to prophecy that just get that real quick, because Russia is the bear in the scriptures. Get that. I think that's Revelations 11. Let me just jump to it. Okay, here we go. Revelations 13. Revelations 13 and 2. It says, "And the beast which I saw," which the beast is representing in these modern times. Today, NATO and the EU. They used to be, the Eastern Roman Empire and its vassals and things of that nature. But now in these times, the Roman Empire which fell, has been brought back into existence through Babylon the Great. It says, the beast which is like unto a leopard. Okay, which is the start of this is the start of Edomite, because the beast and the the Roman Empire, the Greeks, because the Greeks represent that's what the leopard represents, the Greeks, Alexander the Great, Salakia, and the Greeks, which was ultimately the start of Edom's supremacy on the earth. It started with the Greeks, and then it went to the Romans, and then now in these last days, we are in the revived Roman Empire, which is also led by none other than the Edomites. Okay, they are in rulership of the earth because it was prophesied that they would be in rulership of the earth, according to 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter, that Esau would be the end, and Jacob, being the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel, would be the latter, which means they would come after. So right now we're in the midst of this man's Edomite structure, his beast system. Okay, so it began with the Greeks. All right, it says unto a leopard. So that's what the leopard represents. It says but the reason I'm bringing out this precept is right here. It says in his feet, which means the end of this man's system, his power structure, his rulership is going to be ended. It says his feet were as the feet of a bear. So the bear represents these Russians, Magog, Gog and Magog, all right? And they're going to be a pivotal key instrument into this place being destroyed. All right, so even though it's talking about, the relationships are stabilizing, peace, and I haven't read out the article yet, but that's what it's basically going to say roundabout. So we understand these things, but we are not deceived, because we know that the Lord's prophecies of how this place is going to go out and be destroyed reign supreme over what's going on and what you would think is happening on the world stage. This place still gonna be destroyed by these Russian Edomites, and their allies, and the allies of Babylon the Great, aka America, are also going to shoot missiles on this place as well. All right, it says in his mouth is the mouth of a lion. All right, and that goes into Great Britain, because this place was it began through Pax Britannica, and then it went to Pax Americana, which we are in right now. Transition of power. It says, and the dragon gave him his power, his seat, and great authority. All right. I'm going to read verse 13, verse 3. It says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. All right. And this is going into what I was just speaking about, that how the Eastern Roman Empire fell. Was it the West? I think it was the West. The Western Roman Empire fell. And it was replaced by the Byzantine Empire and the Holy Roman Empire, which was led by Jakes, the Israelites. So during that 1,000-year period in which Esau was in captivity, and he was in a servant level, we ruled all of Europe. So it says, and I saw one of his heads were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. So they came back during the Renaissance period. They were reborn, rebirthed, into the earth, that Roman way, that Edomite power way, structure, way of thought and thinking and mindset came back via the Renaissance, that Roman, way of thinking, basically the Edomite way of thinking, because the Romans were Edomites. But this place shares great similarities with Rome, and you can just simply look that up. We're not just saying this place is Roman revived for no reason. Do a quick Google search, but I know one of the things was that we share a Senate. It's just which is a different way of governing, because it used to be monarchies, which were kings. So, and this place is going to be destroyed, just as Rome was destroyed, but this place is going out via fire. Let's get this AI overview one time, and then we'll go back to the point. It says, while there are some superficial similarities between Rome and America, such as dominant powers, which Rome at the time was a dominant power. They ruled all the known world at that time. And Babylon the Great, coming in the spirit of Rome, is a world power who is in rulership and has a lot of power over the nations via their financial system, military, and their religious system. Now it says the two societies are fundamentally different in their structure, culture, technology, development. Rome was absolute monarchy, while America is, Rome, I wouldn't say Rome was a monarchy. Rome was, they did things by the Senate. So let me see. And one of the things as well is that Rome, they did accept all matters of types of people. So you could come and be from anywhere, and they're going to accept you in and bring you in. This is the same thing as Babylon the Great. There's a lot of nations, a lot of religions, a lot of heathens, and things of that nature. Over here, it's like a melting pot of people. But it says here, both in multiculturalism, both empires were diverse, encompassing cultures and ethnicities. Here's one. It says, the U.S. political system was to some degree modeled on the Roman Republic, and particularly in its early stages, including concepts like separation of power and the Senate, which Babylon exhibits today. Let me see. But yeah, you can read this on your own time. I'm just going into it just briefly. It says just go to decline, because both of these empires, they declined, and right now we're in the stages of Babylon the Great, the Edomite American way declining. Because the Lord did say in Micah 2:10, this is not our rest. What we're here to do as Israelites is to observe prophecy, observe the times, pray unto the Lord, fast, pray, and be under grace. And Lord willing, the Lord have mercy upon us, and we be of the hopeful elect, which would therefore mean that we've been predestinated to receive salvation and to receive the victory over the beast. And that's going to be done through the blood and the faith that we have in our Lord Yahawashi. All right. Now, it says, while both empires face challenges and periods of decline, their specific circumstances or the reasons for their decline are vastly different. I don't know if that's admitting that America's in decline or not. I think it is. But it says, in conclusion, while some superficial parallels can be... you gotta watch this AI shit. But yeah, this kingdom is Rome all over again. Let me get one more piece of evidence to support my claim. Because Rome, the way that Rome and the way that Rome was set up, the way it was built, the architecture of Rome is the same as Babylon the Great. These column based, just the way these buildings are built, that the Edomites are ruling, because that's how they always built. I'm trying to. I don't know if I got a picture You know, I think that's I think that on the left right there, that's the Colosseum, and that's a modern day building of, try to get a better example. But yeah, man, the they built the same way because these are the same people that are in rulership right now. What they got right here? What's this? Okay, never mind. What's this right here? Here's some more evidence. Same type of. It's the same people ruling, so they're gonna do the same shit. But they're gonna rule via quote unquote democracy, quote unquote a Senate, by decision. But that's really just bullshit. The people that are running this place, running Babylon the Great, are just a small, select amount of families. The elites is what we call them, and they dictate policy and everything. Though it may seem like you've been given an illusion of choice by the two branches, which represent the Republic and the Democratic Party, they're not the options, and what they give you is nothing more than what they have been given to give you by the elites. Though it seemed like, okay, these are two opposing forces and they want different things. Nah, it's all just the same thing. The Democratic and the Republican Party, they're and whatever else party is all in the spirit of rebellion against Yahawashi and Yahawashi ultimately when you come down to it. Because Esau, Edom, in this power structure, and their kingdom in and of itself does not push and forward the ways of the Lord Yahawashi and Yahawashi. All right, so these governments, whether they be Senate-based or monarchy-based, it does not matter, because this one is, democracy, Senate-based or whatever. Their government is still not rooted in the ways of the Lord. And see, since the